So this episode is called Sisterhood Above All. I actually felt it should have been called A Tale of Two Sisters because we are going back in time to understand the history of the Harkonnen sisters namely, and we kind of understand from where these two sisters, their emotions, their ideology are coming from. So the episode starts right where we left it off. Valya is super shocked and stunned that Desmond Hart is not affected by her voice. She is banned from the Imperium's palace, I believe, and so she is decided to take an action about it. She vows to teach Desmond a lesson just like she has taught others a lesson. And we cut to a flashback. And so we go back in time to Lankaville, which is the seat of House Harkonnen, but it also houses Robert Baratheon and Portia Featherington. It is an actually very cold and desolate land where they are trading in whale fur, whale meat, and so the place looks so cold and desolate, and you can see the meekness and repulsive feeling that Valya feels in her homeland. We get to see Valya's immediate family, her two siblings. One is Tula, her younger sister, and other one is Griffin, the older brother. So we get to see a very tried and tested relation between Valya and her mother, Sonya Harkonnen, who is constantly telling her not to be so greedy, so overly passionate and volatile, because it's going to create more downfall for the House Harkonnen. Something I noticed is her mother, Sonya, warns Griffin about the daughter Valya and tells Griffin to not follow Valya because she is a wolf. And I was surprised because I remember episode 2 was called Two Wolves. So if one wolf is Valya, who is the second wolf? I'll give you my opinion about that in a minute. However, her older brother Griffin truly believes in Valya and decides to go ahead and follow her plans. What are her plans? Okay, Vorian Atredies has been spotted again. Who is Vorian Atredies? He is the guy who was part of the Machine Wars and is the sole reason for the downfall of House Harkonnen. He decided to spread some lies about House Harkonnen, and that is why they have been claimed cowards and sent into exile to Lankaville. But this happened about 100 years ago. How is this guy still alive? That is a mystery. So apparently he seems to keep disappearing and appearing, and at this point in time, he has appeared back in the capital. Valya thinks it's the best idea to go confront him and try and make him take back his lies and restore House Harkonnen to its former glory. My opinion of Valya Harkonnen has drastically changed after the third episode. I see the intensity, passion and volatility this character brings towards the show, and it is with the same intensity and passion she decided to spearhead the Sisterhood. The fact that she is actually the first person, the originator of the voice, the one core trait a Bene Gesserit uses to influence people all around her, She's the first one who used it. She's the first one who learned how to do it and taught it to the rest. So the amount of badassery this character has is something extraordinary, and I quite didn't grasp it in the last 2 episodes. Her brother Griffin's mission is to go ahead and try and restore the House Harkonnen name. However, this is cut short when he's killed, apparently murdered, and his body is brought back to Lankaville. And so you kind of understand where all this rage and trauma and anger is ignited in Valya and Tula and her family. Valya was supposed to go to the Sisterhood to learn how to be a truthsayer so that she could be one for her brother when he becomes the Lord. Now this has become cut short. However, she's still forced to go into Sisterhood, but she's going with so much rage and anger. Her main motive in life is to take revenge on the Atredies who have banished their family, who has killed her beloved brother, who has brought down the name of their family. So she is going with this mission into Sisterhood. Before Valya leaves Lankaville, she tells Tula, try and escape from this planet, try and escape from here and do something with your life. And you know that Tula is more of the demure and the shy, more like the weak personality between the two sisters, and she's more like a shadow to Valya. But something really struck me, something that I saw when I saw it for the second time that really struck me is that Tula tells Valya to control her anger and her rage towards Atredies. An eye for an eye is not the way to go because Griffin deserves much more than that. Hold on to the sentence, we'll come back to it in a minute. Then we come to the present where the Sisterhood are sitting and discussing how to tackle Desmond Hart and how to get back into a good side with the Imperium and with the House Corino. This is when Sister Valya finds out from a message that Stula sent that Sister Lila did not make it. However, Rakela has a message that the reckoning is coming from someone who is twice born, one from blood and one from spice. This pushes Valya to believe this could be Desmond Hart because The rumor is that he has been saved, or he somehow survived being devoured by the sandworm, the Shai-Hulud. So it is like he's born again from the spice. Now let's talk about the other sister, Tula. She is more calmer among the two, and she's someone who is considered more weak or vulnerable, because you can see how she's struggling to let go of sister Leela, who's in sort of like a limbo. She feels guilt over what she has done probably, and she doesn't know how to let her go. And so you can even see this in her character when she was a young girl, that she was not someone who had the guts or courage to do much, not like Valya, who actually wanted to make a difference. And Tula is actually in another planet. We do not know where she is, but she's in another planet with her boyfriend, whose name is Ori. She's going to meet his family for the first time, and they're there for a family hunt. But what are they hunting? They're hunting bulls. Hold up. Aren't the Atredies famous for bull hunting? Wasn't Paul Atredies' grandfather, that is Duke Leto's father, killed during a bull attack? So there is no way this is a coincidence that Tula's boyfriends, Ori and his family, are into bull hunting. It's too good to be true. But at the same time, as a viewer, I'm thinking, oh my god, she's the more demure one. She's the weaker one. What could she possibly do? Does she have what it takes to actually do something about it? Well, as it comes out, throughout the scene with Ori's family, we get to see how Tula is such a nurturing woman, how much she loves this man, and how she always had a kind heart towards animal and people. At the same time, we see she's very good with, let's say, chemicals or like herbs, and she knows how to create things, so she knows what is poison and what is not poison, which is something we also got to see when she made the Rozak poison in episode 2. So she's someone who's very crafty with these herbal things. And like we knew it's gonna happen, but kind of didn't want to believe it, she massacred the house Atredies, except for her boyfriend Ori, who she decided to show what she did to them after revealing that she's a Harkonnen. And because she revealed that Vorin Atreides killed her brother, there is no way they can go back. Even when Ori was willing to accept her as a Harkonnen, she said there is no way we can go back, because in the end an Atreides killed my brother. And so what she said earlier to Valya really rings true, that an eye for an eye is not the way to go, because Griffin is much more than that. So for taking Griffin Harkonnen, she took the entire Atreides out. And at that very point, just as she massacred the entire Atredies, a massive bull overlooks at her and the dead bodies from the height. I mean, if you thought Tula was the submissive one, think again. She is a bigger wolf. Both the sisters are really capable in their own way. Meanwhile, Valya is in Wallach 9 learning how to be a sister, and she is having issues with Dorothea, who is kind of like her teacher at the same time like her colleague. So she's probably intimidated by Valya or threatened by her. But somehow Valya's stubbornness and with the power of her voice, she's able to get Mother Raquela's attention. And Raquela confides in her a lot of things. One of which is the fact that the way the sisters have been playing with the genetics and deciding which houses should get married to each other in order to prepare the correct lineage to rule the planets is actually using a forbidden technology. This part was kind of like surprising to me, because they just had a machines war, and Mother Raquela actually was an active member in the machines war, destroying all the machines, making sure the machines are forbidden. However, she has saved this one AI technology to do her bidding. Eventually, Raquela selects both Valya and Dorothea to become Reverend Mothers and gave them this privilege to be a Reverend Mother. However, Valya actually decides not to do it, because deep down she still has her hatred towards Atredies, and she is not fully ready to make sisterhood above all. This is at the same crucial minute she gets a news to go back to her house, Blankerville, where she goes and meets Tula. The entire family is shocked with what Tula has done. Somehow I think Valya believed the entire Atredies clan is killed, and so a lot of heavy load has been lifted off her chest. She decides to take the poison and become a Reverend Mother through the help of Tula, who guided her back. And both of them decide to go back to Wallach 9 and become sisters, this time with the mission that sisterhood is above all. When we cut to the present, we get to see that Tula is someone who is able to take harsh, hard decisions. Even when it's so difficult, she does take it. And so she kind of convinces the people around her that she is letting go of Layla. However, we see that she actually took her down underground to the tunnels where the AI technology machine is kept, and she instructs the machine to infuse enough spice into Sister Layla to keep her brain active. Sister Layla will also be someone who is born of blood, and she will again be born of spice because of the spice that's being infused in her body. At the end, Valya decides to do something. You know, in episode 1, she has been refusing House Harkonnen a truthsayer. But at the end of the episode, she decides to go and personally visit her nephew and her uncle, who's currently the Lord Harkonnen. And I believe she's going to give her services to them as a truthsayer. Overall, I thought it was a banger of an episode because I was quite worried how much content they can give us in 6 episodes and we might not feel too connected to the people. Maybe people who have read the books would feel this is extra information and nothing new, but for people like us who have not read the Sisterhood of Dune, all of this was new information. It gave us more reason to feel connected to these two characters, Valya and Tula, to understand their psyche and to understand where they come from and their motivations and emotions. So that's it, guys. I loved this episode. I do see a little bit of similarities in the tonality and the slow pacingness that you would actually see from Game of Thrones or House of Dragons, but I actually enjoyed it. I hope they go back to the present, show us Desmond Hart, what's going on with there, and it also made me wonder with the number of times they kept talking about Vorian Atredies. I have a feeling maybe Desmond Hart is Vorian Atredies. I just get this kind of vibe, because that means Vorian Atredies is somewhere present. They had been talking about him so much. This is something I'm looking forward to. Another thing, in this episode, we get to see so much about the two different ideologies between Dorothea and Valya. The fact that Dorothea's granddaughter is Sister Leela, and she kind of held her in episode 2 while she had taken the agony, makes me feel like this is like an abomination. Abomination means when the person comes back alive, like when Sister Leela will come back alive, the personality, the mind will not be controlled by Sister Leela, but it's going to be controlled by Dorothea. And so that's going to be a huge clash, or like a civil war between the sisters. Maybe this would be towards the end of the season where this could be a bigger clash in season 2, because I think it's too early to have this clash right now at episode 4. Okay guys, that's it. That's my opinion and discussion and recap for episode 3. Waiting for episode 4 and 5 and 6, and we'll keep reviewing them like this. I hope you enjoy these series just like I do. Until then, take care. Ciao, ciao.